And there we go. Okay, so let's go through do it and get these questions done. An interesting question here on number 2. It requires a little bit of stuff to remember from last year. And if I recall, you will have an upcoming quiz that is a lot like number 2. I don't know if it's the quiz coming up or the one after that, but at some point in the not too distant future, you will have a question like this. Yes?
It's not what we have. Yeah.
No, what does yours say on top?
If it's X.
No, number. Look under the word name. What does it say?
ACC model 7.
But there's a 7.
Oh, it says 7 ACC, 8, and what does it say after it's crossed out?
Graphic calculator.
Yeah, so now we have 2 less than 7.
Okay, hold it.
I crossed it out.
Those aren't the same exact questions as yesterday's, are they?
No. Oh, wait, yes, they are. No, they're not. No. They looked like that. They're just like different
Okay.
numbers. Yeah, they're basically just different numbers.
Yeah, that's normal.
Oh, Lily.
And you said lesson 8 was not the same?
Yeah, because it says that, because it has the same questions and answers.
All right. And your sheet says 7 accelerated on it, 7 ACC?
No, it says
No.
Yeah, 7.
Oh wait, never mind.
Algebra 1 accelerated.
All right, let me see if it looks like this.
Yeah.
Are those the same numbers on there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Don't know why it's a little bit messed up, but we'll work around it. And that's it? Okay. So this is a lot like what we did yesterday, and what we want to do is give us one last day to understand that or show that we do have good understanding, and that we can begin to feel comfortable with these quadratics, and so on and so forth. So, without any further ado, first question. If f of x is equal to x squared plus 9x, every time this thing gets turned off, it makes me look like a monkey.
Can't stress that enough, can you?
Yeah, it's,
We've had to do this every day for the last 2 weeks.
oh, it's like 3 times a day. So at some point, I will remember to look into it. There was a way under the old computers to fix this. I don't know if there is under the new one. Okay, so find h of 1. So I'm going to substitute the 1 for x, because this really reads, take the input squared, add 9 times the input. So it becomes 1 squared plus 9 times 1. By order of operations, I do exponents first, so 1 squared is 1, 9 times 1 is 9, and the entire answer is 10. Okay? Next, the important thing to remember on number 2, we spent a lot of time doing this yesterday, and I also want to emphasize, notice how these things are put together. Number 2 was a key point yesterday. Very, very key point, in that you have to square it first, then negate it. So I'm sure you saw a question like that on your homework last night. So you have seen it in class, you saw it on homework. You've seen it in class today, you're going to see it in homework tonight. And I will make sure that at least once or twice a week, you see this concept from now until the Regents exam, so that you get very, very comfortable with it. And I don't like to do something once and then leave it. And don't do it again for a week or 2 and then put it on a test, because kids will always forget. So in this case, I have to square it first, then negate it. Remember, to negate means to change its sign. So if I give an input of 2, I square 2, what's 2 squared?
2, 4.
4, then I negate it, and I get what? Negative 4. Now, I want to go to your calculator for just a minute. I want to show you the importance of this on your calculator. This is an extremely important point. On your calculator, I want you to do this, and then I want you to do that. And when you do it, they'll both stay on your screen. That's why you got a nice big box there. It won't be a problem. The negative's at the bottom. Okay.
What? I don't think mine's on anymore.
There's a meme button.
Oops.
Okay, so if you did that on your calculator,
What?
you should notice that the first one comes out to 4, and the second one comes out to -4.
That's probably what happened.
Wait,
I'm confused, what were we
that's
doing?
really, I think the reason why I think it's a little bit off is because, so you know how square means the number multiply by itself, right? Well, if you do -2 times -2, you would get +4.
That's right, and that's exactly what the first one says to do. It means square the whole of -2. These packages or parentheses around here are saying square the whole thing. The second one doesn't say that. The second one says square only the 2, then negate it. So when you type it into your calculator, the calculator interprets it the same exact way I'm saying it. So what is the moral to the story? The moral to the story is this. Listen very carefully or you will lose lots of points this year that you don't want to lose. Every single time that you input a negative into this calculator, you must put parentheses around it. If you want to square a -7, you better put parentheses around it. If you want to multiply by a -7, put parentheses around it. The other thing that always goes into a parenthesis in this calculator is a fraction. And the way you would do a fraction, just very quickly, we'll do more later, is parenthesis 2 divided by 5 parenthesis. That's how you would input a fraction, okay? So all, and I repeat, all negative numbers and fractions are put in parentheses when you use this calculator. Otherwise, you might well get the question wrong because the calculator correctly interprets the order of operations, and sometimes we, the people, get sloppy and we assume a few things, and then you have problems. Okay, next one. Let me show you how you could use your calculator to do this one. Ready? 2, parentheses. See how that's a negative number? So I put it in parentheses. Literally type this in. 2, parentheses, -5, parentheses, squared, -3, parentheses, -5, parentheses, +7.
Where's the squared?
The squared button is on the left-hand
Wait,
side.
that's a -5.
Oh,
Yes, that's a -5.
Oh,
-3.
Oh.
Literally put that in exactly the way you did, and it will type out the answer. When you hit enter, it'll do the whole thing all at once.
I got it.
Oh my god, I got it
72.
right.
72.
What do you know?
Okay? So,
Yay.
the calculator that is on your desk might, in some ways, and you know what, it's not even might. Guys,
I get 42.
in some, type that, go back and type that exactly in the way I wrote it, and you will get 72. 25, 50, 75, 72, 65, 72. You have more calculating power in that little calculator than the president of Ford Motor Company had on his desk 30 years ago. Incredible power in that calculator. It can do amazing things. Your problem is you need to learn how to talk to the calculator in the way the calculator wants to be spoken to.
Hi.
All right? If you talk to that calculator in a way the calculator does not want to be spoken to, for example, if you get fresh to your parents, do you get what you want? If so, you have a lousy parent. All right? If you get fresh to your parent, should we cut you right off?
Spanish?
Yes.
If we need this for homework, can we like
No.
borrow it?
Oh, there we go.
There are schools, they stay here. If you want to use this for homework, there are 2 ways around this. I think I mentioned this the first day. One way around it is to right here, right now, start giving your parents the old, hey, I got a great idea for a Christmas present. Okay? The second one, if you have a Kindle, an app, a Kindle, an iPad, a smartphone. Preferably an iPad or a Kindle because they're bigger and you can see the screen better. If you go to the App Store, there's an app called Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S, graphing calculator, and it's free.
Wait, couldn't
Now,
you,
some parts of it are harder to use than this calculator, but you can still do just about anything you can do in a calculator. Yeah,
couldn't you just go online and then like get one online for free?
that's what I just said.
Yeah, I know, but like if you know, just get a computer or something and then go
Oh,
on the
just
computer and then type in the numbers.
So I'll be
Oh,
waiting
I don't
for-
know, I've tried to do that, I don't know. But part of the reason is because I have one, so I don't do it very often. But I do know I can do it on my iPad. I have the app Desmos on my iPad, and I can do it right on there. Okay, what would the equation be for an object thrown through the air from a height of 8 feet? It's feet, so it's English system. Upward velocity of 12, h of t equals -16 t squared. Upward velocity of 12 plus 12t from a height of 8 feet plus 8. Okay? This, to me, is the kind of question you should want on quizzes and tests, because I really can't fool you with it.
It's really just a formula.
That's all it is. Know what A, B, and C are, and you just plug them into the place. All right, any questions? Yes?
Why'd you use -16?
Because that's the gravitational constant, and we said to you yesterday and the day before, it will always, 100% of the time, there's very few things in this course I can ever say always about. This is one of them. It will always be either -16 or -9.8. And the way you tell which is which is if it's English system, like feet, 16. If it's metric, 9.8.
Wait, isn't it -4.9 because it's divided by 2?
I thought it was -9.8. I'll have to look it up. Literally, I have never, ever, ever seen the master metric. So, you could be right about that. I really don't know for sure, Spencer. All right, so let's go to, actually, I think you are right, but I'm not sure. All right, we did a bunch of these yesterday. We talked about it. Let's go to these guys. You have your calculator with you now. You can either do these in your head or you can do them on the calculator. Let's see you guys do numbers 1 through 3 and then 4AB. 1 through 3, 4AB. Calculate them out. Let's make sure we can get the correct answer. This is the last day that we're doing this kind of work, so by the end of class today, you should be very, very comfortable with this. Remember, you could type this into the calculator exactly as it appears, or you can do it in your head. I'm a fan of both ways. I'm more a fan of your head. But if you tend to make sloppy mistakes, then the calculator is a good way to go. What do you always, always, always use if you're gonna put a negative into that calculator?
Parentheses.
Parentheses.
What?
Okay, one of those is wrong. Keep it to yourself when you figure out which one is wrong. Keep it to yourself. Take a look through. One of those is wrong. Would anybody like to volunteer which one was wrong? Go ahead. 2. No.
I knew it.
2 is correct. Go ahead. 4B.
That's what I did.
4B. Let me explain to you why number 2 is correct. Ready, Ms. Sayers? I have to square the -3. So what's -3 squared?
9.
9, right? Because it's -3 times -3. Then I have to negate it. So it's -9. And then -3 times -3 is +9. -9 plus 9, 0. Again, if you were very careful, if you were to type this into your calculator, you would have to type negative, parenthesis, -3, parenthesis, squared. Okay? The parentheses only go around the input. It does not include that negative sign. Yes?
For 4B, did you like not put the parentheses around the
I think that he's, I don't.
Let me look at 4B. Well, here's the thing, on 4B, it's a positive 9, so you don't need parentheses.
Yeah, but for the negative 7 times 9.
If you do 2 times 9 squared minus 7 times 9 plus 4, it'll give you the right answer.
Oh,
Okay.
I did it in parts.
You can do it in parts, that'll work also, it just takes a little bit longer. And you know, I grew up, graphing calculators did not exist when I grew up. They only came out in about 1990, 1989, 1990. And I always did exactly what you just said on a calculator, a scientific calculator. You do a piece plus, do a piece minus, or whatever. And I never used to put the whole thing in at once.
But I also do it in
But now it's so much easier because you just type it in and bam, it's like magic. You know, it's like there's a genie inside the calculator. Yes?
So what's the real answer to, 4B?
Well, the real answer, let me do it in my head. 81, 162 minus 63 is 99, 4 is 103.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? All right, so, now, oh yes, Spencer, you are correct, it's negative 4.9, we went through it right here. Ready? In the chart, negative 4.9. Now, we said B is the upward velocity, we said C is the starting distance above the ground. Everybody, let's put it together and do this one right here. H of T equals, this is like that last question from the Do It, let's make sure we know how to get it right.
Where'd he go?
He's gone, he disappeared.
There you are.
Yes, I have my resources back there. Got my refrigerator. I used to have a reclining chair until they made me get rid of it.
Can I have it?
They made me get rid of it? Oh, it wasn't fire retardant. The whole wall's made up of cement with fireproof paint on it, as if my chair in the back room's gonna make a difference if a fire breaks out. Anybody see all the wood in the room?
There's some wood on your desk.
Right, absolutely.
Back to
Okay,
balcony.
so, let's see, what's the correct answer here? Someone who hasn't helped me yet today, lipstick.
Well,
Oh, hold on, I gotta do this here.
well, I also have a question, but I'll answer it.
Go ahead.
H of T equals negative 6T squared.
Negative 16.
16T, oh yeah, okay.
What, did the lipstick get in the way on that one? Go ahead.
That's
Plus 23T
Yep,
plus 17.
nice. Question.
Are we ever gonna be doing a metric system?
I just said to Spencer before, I can never remember the masking metric one. But I have no trust for the people in the state of New York. None. Zero, nada. They're evil, corrupt, bankrupt, moral idiots. They love to torture you. So we mentioned. Okay. Now,
I like that.
I have no respect for them. None whatsoever. And you know what the scary thing is?
No respect.
Okay, let's take this a step further. Hey, get up there.
I can't read those numbers.
You don't have to.
Wait, why is that?
This is all because I'm a little bit off on that. All
Why
right.
is the
Hey,
difference?
plot a graphical representation of change in elevation over time following the graphing story. It's a video of a man jumping 36 feet above the ground into 1 foot of water. It is. The guy jumps off, he does a belly rock, he lands in a foot of water.
Let's watch
Yes,
it.
he's a,
On TV.
That sounds like a bad idea.
yeah, it's just, risk reward, what's the point? Now, what we have here, it says he's jumping from 36 feet above the ground, and if you notice, he has no upward velocity. He doesn't jump up, he just kind of falls. So my correct equation would be
I'd be scared.
H of T equals,
Can we watch it?
let's see if we have time at the end, negative 16T squared, and then he's doing it from, what's the height? 36 feet?
36.
Is this
Plus
guy-
36. Okay, now, let me show you something really, really cool about your calculator. You can graph this before I even put it up on the board. That's why they call it a graphing calculator. All right, there's a button on your calculator that says y equals. Everybody go to y equals. Now,
there's something in
listen up, in y equals, you need to type in negative 16, t, there's a button that says x, t, theta, or n. It's near the upper left. The button looks like this. X, t, theta, n.
What does theta mean?
It's a Greek letter, you use it in trigonometry.
Oh god,
Okay.
I'm scared.
Greek drill in math.
Negative 16, t squared plus 36, put that in there.
How do we do a t?
You do
It's the same button. But what that button means is variable.
But it says x. Wait, so
It says all of them.
x t.
And the button means variable, that's all it means, so just put in the
Well,
variable.
how do you do T?
It's the button.
So we just press it.
So
it's
X
on.
means
You
entire
just put in
button.
you just hit the button.
And even though it pops up as
It doesn't matter what, it doesn't.
Right, it doesn't matter, it's the variable, it's all it is. And then it's negative 16, that button squared plus 36, and then hit graph.
Where's the graph button?
Y1 equals.
Jesus, whoa, what is this?
Now,
It's like a
if you notice,
Wowza.
Oh, it's a quadratic.
Magic. What the heck is this?
if you notice, you only see part of the picture. If you wanna see the whole picture, go to the button that says window.
Window. I can't find it.
There's a button that says window, it's across, like second row across. Hit enter.
Which one?
And then it says Y min, max, X, Y, X max, X min, etc. Go to the one that says Y max, scroll down, go to the right, change it to 50.
I made it 100 just.
So change the Y max to 50, you could make it 100, it wouldn't make a difference.
No.
Okay?
Oh,
And then go hit graph again.
I did.
that's weird.
I did it. Whoa.
And then you see the path of the guy jumping off.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
All right,
I didn't get that.
Oh, I messed it up.
That happened.
now,
This is what you're supposed to get.
Wait, is this what's supposed to look like? Go up and
It looks like
down?
a ladder. Kind of.
guys, you're getting distracted from what's gonna help you learn. That gives you a picture of what it is that's going on. And we'll talk a lot more about this as the year goes on. However, what I wanna do is now go through the trouble of manually plotting this. It's a lot more difficult. If I plug in a 0, I get 0 squared is 0 times negative 16 is 0 plus 36 is 36. Now, I'm going to ask several different people to input certain numbers. Everybody on this side of the room, look at me. Look at me. Spencer, you're gonna put a .33 in for T. Okay? Sydney, you're gonna put in a .7. I can do one off the top of my head. Jordan, you got 1.125. Mr. Dessing, you have 1.25. Anthony, you have 1.33.
I want to do one.
You do, 1.33.
Not one, as in like.
No, I got that one. I can do that one off the top of my head. Brian, is there one on the chart after that?
Yeah.
1.5, you do 1.5.
Wait, so I do 16 times 0.23?
You do negative 16 times .33 squared plus 36.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, then, when Spencer's done, grab his real quick.
I don't want her touching.
Okay, Spencer, I just need you to tell me what you get as your answer.
Nothing. There's nothing here.
Negative 16 times .33 squared plus
Oh,
36.
like type it into the calculator. Like
Yeah.
Okay, come back to you.
Come on, quickly. Anybody have their answer? Anthony, what do we get?
I think 1.33 is 7.6.
Don't answer mine. answer
7.69, so 7.7. He is answering his. Spencer, he did it perfectly.
yours. Okay.
Now,
Just don't answer.
I'm gonna do 1, which is gonna be 20.
I got it.
That was my chin.
Okay, now who wants to go next here? Question?
I
Can we get rid of like the graph on here?
Yeah, just hit,
They've got
if there's a quit button, it's like second mode, and then it'll get it right out of there.
What? Can we just hit clear?
Okay, yes,
Okay, I think it's 34.2576.
okay, we're gonna go 34.3. I'm just rounding it off a little bit. Okay, Sydney's gonna work on that one. Jordan, what did you get? Oh, which one did I give you? Okay, what'd you get? Go to second quit. Second.
Yes.
Okay, Egan, what'd you get? 0, okay. And Dessing, what'd you get?
11.
11. Good. Sydney, what'd you get? Good, that's right. 28 point what? 28.2, okay. 15.8. Okay, so now I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna plot them on the graph. Ready? 0.36. And then it's 0.33. Notice this is 1, that's 0.5, so 0.33, 34. This is gonna be approximate as I do this. 0.7, 0.28, which is, I think that's 2.8. Bottom line is, if I connect all the dots, guys, I get the graph that your calculator did for you. Do you want to do this every time, or do you want your calculator to do it for you? Calculator to do it for you. Very good. Please take note of the number on your calculator and put it in the correct spot over there.
How do we get rid of the
This is
line?
26 on my
How do we get rid of the line?
Yeah, mine's
The line
mine
is
was
the
a
axis,
10
that's the
and
line.
it said everything was wrong.
If you want to use it, go to white.
It's not Evan's job to pick up your
People say they did
Hasta la vista, bye con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta, arrivederci, smile a lot.
Cheerios
Ciao,
with milk.
arrivederci, cheerio.
Cheerios with milk.
Yeah, there you go. Where did I go? Oh, got the shoes, sayonara, kadafis.
What's the app called again?
Desmos, Desmos, just type in, even if you just typed in pre-graphing calculator. And Desmos will be the first one that pops up. Sarah E, in some ways it's better than that calculator, but in some ways it's more difficult. So it's not perfect, but it'll get you going for now.
Mom says she might buy me one.
Christmas.
I already have. Maybe this weekend I might